listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast, a Texas Tech athletics podcast where food and sports clash at the goal line. Here are your hosts, Spencer and Michael.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 23 Personnel Podcast. This is your instant reaction to Texas Tech taking down Kansas State 60-59. Joined as always by Michael. Michael, what's up, man?
I'm just reveling in this 3-0. You know, Texas Tech this time last year was already 0-4 in conference play, and they would not get their third win in the Big 12 conference for a full month later. February 13th was when they finally locked in that third win, and McCaslin's squad is 3-0 right out of the gate after this crazy game. Let's walk me through it, Spencer. What in the world?
I don't know, man, because it started off pretty well in Tech's favor. You got I don't know if it was a 9-point run, but you got a 9-point lead early in the first half. You had, let's see. Let's get to the beginning of the game. That's backwards. Oh, reset the stat feed. Awesome. You got up, was it 11? No, it was still 9. It was like 22-13. You traded a couple of threes. And then, well, I guess it was 19-10. You traded a couple of threes, and Kansas State finishes out the first half on a 20-0 run. And you're just like, man, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
Luckily, it didn't extend into the second half. He came out and it was back and forth. It felt like there were stretches there. You would get it down 4, 5, 3 points, and Kansas State would hit a couple baskets and extend it back out. And it felt like they were going to do enough to kind of keep you at arm's length. Rebounding certainly came to bite you today. Or at least that's what fueled the early disparity, man. It felt like you would miss a shot. There was no hope of a rebound. Like all your guys were gone. Kansas State just filled the lane with guys. And they ran the ball back up the floor. And then for a stretch, it was Tyler Perry hitting 4 threes in 4 possessions. It's like, hey, can we like defend this guy? Maybe, hopefully. And then, like I said, it got close in the second half, back and forth. You didn't take the lead until, I don't remember the time that was left. What, 2 minutes? 2 minutes left. You may have tied it. And then Kansas State retook the lead. You had a drive. Joe Toussaint and one opportunity hits the basket, misses the free throw. Tech gets the rebound, gets the putback, and is fouled on that attempt to get you another 3 points there.
Texas Tech didn't take the lead. They didn't have the lead till it was 59-60.
Okay, so they tied it. That's what it was.
Yes, it was tied for a while. It was back and forth and tied. But yeah, I mean, some very, very clutch free throws by Williams and Toussaint to bring it in. And I think that's honestly the stat of the game, because Tech's poor shooting, just awful all day. 36% from the field, 20% from 3. They were 3 of 25, but they were 15 of 18 from the stripe, including 10 of 11 in the second half. And most all of those free throws were clutch free throws, because it was when Tech was trying to make a run or trying to build something up. And then, like I mentioned, Williams and Toussaint coming in and winning the game on their free throws.
Yeah. You didn't tie the game. I don't know if you said a minute 36. Right. You had gone on a 8-0 run to do that. Kansas State had an 8-point lead at 3:21. You would hit a 3 to pull it within 6. They had a 9-point lead. Then you hit a 3 to pull it within 6. Finister hit a layup, put it to 8. And then you went on a little 8-0 run. Toussaint layup Washington free throw good. Demarion Williams layup good, free throw good, and then he hit 2 more free throws after that to tie it. Kansas State hit 2 free throws to put them up by 2 with 41 seconds to go. You hit the Toussaint layup and the and one there, or the free throw to get it 60 to 59. And the first, I mean, like we talked about, Kansas State hit the first shot, got up 2-0. You didn't have a 9-point run. You had a 9-point run to get up 9-2. Kaluma hit a 3. Then you went on another 5-point run to get it back to 9. Back and forth a little bit. And then it started to whittle, but like Walton hit a 3. Then it was, it wasn't Perry with 4 straight threes. It was,
there was one in between.
There were 5 Kansas State threes.
Yeah.
4 of those 5 were Perry. It was Perry, Kaluma, Perry, all threes. Where you went from up 9 to down 6. And Kaluma hit a layup to go up 8. And then Carter hit a 3-pointer because he was just on fire at times to go up by 11 at the break. Excuse me. Scoring wise for Kansas State, they had 3 guys in double figures, almost had a 4th. Tyler Perry bounced back, had 16, led all scorers tonight, 16 points, 5 of 15 from the field, including 4 of 11 from 3, and 2 free throws. Those 2, like we just mentioned, with like 40 seconds left in the game. Cam Carter had 15 points of his own, 6 of 11, 3 of 5 from 3. And then Arthur Kaluma, 10 points, 4 of 10 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3.
One thing to note, as good as Perry was, he was 4 of 7 from 3 in the first half, but 0 for 4 in the second. They really shut down Perry, kind of slowed down Carter from getting going. Again, 10 of his 15 points were in the first half. Perry, 12 of his 16 were in the first half. So, they obviously came out and played with a little bit different level of intensity, and maybe the hot hand just kind of went away a little bit. The rebounds you mentioned, you touched on it earlier. Tech ended up just 3 under what Kansas State was able to put together, but that was really lopsided in the first half, and then it was really lopsided in the second half. But in Tech's favor, Tech made a lot of ground in the second half, so it just sounds like they just chose to be more aggressive and try to not let these guys just waltz down the floor and get a 3.
Yeah, it was
4 out of 5 possessions in a row.
21-3 rebounding advantage Kansas State in the first half. Sorry, 21-8.
So it wasn't that bad, was it? But
and
it's still pretty bad.
23-13 in your favor in the second half. So they out rebounded you by 13 in the first half. You out rebounded them by 10. There's your -3. So of Perry's 16 points, 12 of them came on those 4 threes within a 3.5 minute stretch. So we talked about, he had been cold coming into the game. He played 37 minutes. 12 of his 16 points came in 3 of those minutes. So the other 34 minutes, you held him to 4 points.
And I think it was kind of good that they had gotten used to making those threes in the first half, so that this is a team, we talked about this, they came into this game averaging, 22, 23 free throw attempts a game. And, today they had 7.
Yep.
So they really weren't being as aggressive. I think maybe because they saw that the shots were falling, and then maybe they let their foot off the gas a little bit coming out of halftime. And that's a great point in Tech's favor.
Yeah, they only shot 1 free throw in the first half, 6 in the second half. But rebounding, especially in that run, it certainly seemed to help to break you. Not gonna lie, there were stretches of the game where I was like, "You're gonna lose this game." When you give up that 20-0 run, and then when you just you were playing better in the second half. It never felt like you were back in it all the way, at least not to me, until late. It just felt like Kansas State was just kind of like they were just, like with the stiff arm. Like we're just gonna keep you there, because you can get close, you can get down within 4 points, and then they'd put up their own little run together and stretch it back out. And you just never you were never able to get into that back and forth game until super late in the game. And then when you did, you end up on top. I know that nobody else can see it, but Michael, I've got my application in to be the new clock operator at United Supermarkets Arena, excuse me. Do you have any other issues with officiating today, Michael?
The double technical was a little bit uncalled for. I don't think that was really deserved by Washington. When a guy's hanging on the rim and he
wraps his leg around him.
Yeah, tries to put a chokehold on you. Yeah, I think that's probably not a double T. I think Washington is absolutely correct in going, what the heck are you doing? And kind of pushing him off and pushing him away. And the fact that the guy just hung on the rim way too long after that, yeah, he deserved a technical. I just, that was probably my only real thing that I noticed too much, aside from, that foul that they called under the basket on Williams. I still don't know what they were reviewing. I had my little one in the living room, so there was probably something I missed because she was talking my leg off at that point. But man, I don't. Whatever it was, it seemed the crowd didn't boo, so I guess they got it right. I don't know if it was who the foul was on or whether it was a shooting foul or whatever they were trying to determine. But
if it's the one I'm thinking of,
the only thing I can think of that was, all right, guys, what do we do?
That it was mentioned a couple times, especially on the radio broadcast, because they weren't trying to be fair and unbiased.
Yeah,
they were talking about how Tang had influenced several calls, and that review may have been influenced by Tang griping at officials. For Kansas State, it didn't feel all that egregious, and maybe because it was such an advantage for Texas Tech. They were called for 10 personal fouls in the game. Whereas 19 were against Kansas State. Although the 19 against Kansas State only led to 18 free throw attempts for Texas Tech, who finished 15 of 18 on the night. 10 of 11 in the second half, though. That's probably where they were a little salty when it was whittling down there at the end. Yeah, I didn't love the double technical. And I guess because there was no possession of the ball when the foul was called, like Kansas State was able to retain possession there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it wasn't the only time a Kansas State player had hung on the rim. It wasn't the first or the last time in the game. But that time was especially egregious because as he kind of swung a little bit towards Washington, he didn't wrap his leg around him, but he like put his knee behind his shoulder, like it was very intentional, like he grabbed him with it. And Washington kind of pushed, and I say push, that wasn't like a shove. He disengaged, basically.
Yeah, it was a get off of me, man.
Yeah,
that was
because he put his nuts in his face. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean that's
screaming
gonna
at
make
him.
You mad. That's gonna tick you off. And
I would not have.
I don't know why you get a technical for being mad about that.
Would not have faulted Washington had he cup checked McNair right then. Which of course you wouldn't be wearing cup in basketball, so you would know exactly what would have happened. Early on, it seemed like you were definitely able to force and capitalize on a lot of Kansas State turnovers. I think that was one thing that was really influential in the game. At 18, you forced 18, but it was 12-6. So you were really able to get to them in the first half, where they were able to settle in a little bit.
I would have liked to see more points off those turnovers, though. It was only 12 points, and it was 9 up until the very end of the game. So if you're going to force 18 turnovers, you got to get a few more buckets.
Yeah. Second chance points, Texas Tech had 14. Kansas State, surprisingly, only had 5, which is wild with how many. They had 11 offensive rebounds, but 5 second chance points. doesn't make any sense how that didn't work out for them.
They
Texas
just
Tech
that on fire in the first half. I think when you're shooting 62%, it's just all right, okay.
Well, like they weren't converting more of those offensive rebounds into points. Texas Tech had 14 offensive rebounds and 14 second chance points. All right. It was fantastic to hear the USA rocking at times. It was unfortunate that it was quiet for so long because of just the way that Kansas State played and took the crowd out of it. The mic levels were more appropriately set on the radio broadcast, so you could hear the crowd, as opposed to TV. But man, that's a fantastic environment when the house is rocking. Love that Texas Tech was able to get out of this game with a win. I would consider Texas Tech Red Raiders and us fortunate to do so.
Yes.
With the way that game was played, at least for long stretches of it. Isaacs is gritty, but man, he was getting hurt and he was getting really emotional about things. I don't know. It just felt like he's not himself. And nobody really was when you only have you had 4 guys in double figures, but nobody had more than 12 points. So Isaacs didn't have 24 tonight.
I don't want to take Toussaint for granted, but his 12 points were obviously crucial, including the free throw at the end that sealed it. But Washington had a really nice game today, and he did some things I hadn't seen him do. He basically kind of posted up a guy at the top of the key, and then spun around him, and then drove all the way to the basket in traffic and scored. So I mean, we got to see some cool things from him today too. And if you want, I've got to look around the Big 12 if you want to do that.
Yeah, just like everybody was perfect from the free throw line except for Washington. Warren Washington, he was 1 of 4. Everybody else hit all their shots. So when you finish that 83%, 91% in the second half, that's certainly a little bit of a clutch gene there from the group. I mean, 5 for 5 for Pop, 3 of 3 for Darian Williams, 3 of 3 for Joe Toussaint. McMillan hit his 1 shot. Robert Jennings hit both of his. I mean, if you're going to get the extra opportunities to score there, you need to take advantage of it. All right.
Yeah.
Whip around the Big 12. I know Kansas got some bounce back love there, taking down Oklahoma.
Kansas, hosting OU, only up by 1 at half. They were up 38-37, go on to win 78-66. UCF took BYU down to the wire, lost at home after defeating Kansas 63-58 to BYU. So BYU now has maybe their first Big 12 win or their second.
I think it's first, but it's against UCF. So it's like, well, I mean, I get that UCF is not terrible. Like maybe we thought that they may have been, but BYU is also ranked and they've been doing super well, especially when you're looking at the advanced metrics, how they were loving BYU. I think they were top 10 team at one point.
And the 2 games going on right now are as close as they can get. West Virginia.
Both surprising.
Yes. West Virginia hosting Texas, giving them all they can handle with about 15 minutes left in the game, up 40-38. And at halftime, Houston is in Fort Worth taking on TCU, tied at 29. This is, of course, Tech's next opponent is Houston, and they are 1-1 in Big 12 play. I think someone pointed out in their previous conference they lost 6 games in like 3 years.
I'm seeing
like that, or three games in 3 years in their previous conference.
I'm seeing Houston up 2 at the half.
Okay,
31-29.
Oh, you're right. The total's not right. That's bizarre.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't mean to like correct you, but yeah.
No, absolutely correct me because the half says anyway. Thanks ESPN for making me flub that even more than I normally would. And then of course tonight we've got Oklahoma State at Iowa State and Cincinnati at Baylor to finish off today's Big 12 slate.
Yep. So that'll do it for us. I don't know if you got anything else, Michael.
No, I just wanted to ask you if you subscribed to Peacock to watch Patrick Mahomes tonight. That was all.
No, I did not. Sorry about you, Pat. You have to do it without me.
I'll just stream it. I'll stream it on Riverside.
Did you
watch it?
Did you hear the? It was a joke, and you probably had to be like listen to the radio as it was happening. Jamie Lent here on local Double T 973 was given one, he asked if Chuck Hines had already gotten his subscription to Peacock so he could watch the Chiefs game. He's like, no, I'm going to be there this weekend. He's like, so instead of paying for the $6 subscription, you're going to travel to Kansas City. That makes sense.
To sit in negative 30-degree wind chill weather.
Yeah, forget that. Miss me with that. Yeah. Anyways, that'll do it for us in 23 Personnel Podcast this evening. Texas Tech knocks off Kansas State 60-59 behind some late game heroics. Love to see Gaslin and his team get to the 3-0 start in Big 12 play, especially last year when they started off 0-8. That'll do it. We'll get you back on Tuesday night, getting you ready for the game down in Houston. For Michael, I'm Spencer. We'll get you guys next time.
Thank you for listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast. Help us out by subscribing, rating the show, and leaving a review. Follow us on Twitter at 23 Personnel, Spencer at PuntSuck, and Michael at Michael_LBK. Be sure to catch the next episode. And until then, guns up and let the tortillas fly.